And now we want to talk about what is called the natural disposition of man. After we've established that man was created, what he was created from and what he was created for, now we want to discuss his natural inclination, his natural disposition. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no child that is born except that is born upon the fitrah. And fitrah in Arabic, as we mentioned, means natural disposition, that which it naturally inclines towards. And his parents, and some scholars say the meaning of parents could also mean his environment, his family like this. They either make him of Jewish faith, Christian faith, or Magian faith, meaning star worshippers or like this. And then the Prophet gave a concrete example for us to kind of examine this. He said, it's like an animal. When it is created, do you see it born with its ears clipped? Who clips the ears of an animal? We clip the ears of an animal. We brand animals. We brand them, put certain marks on them so as to know that they're the property of so-and-so. They weren't born with brands. Those animals' ears weren't born with clipped ears. They were born in their natural state. And then someone changes that natural state. Someone changes that natural disposition. So what the Prophet is saying here is that man is born upon a natural disposition to believe in one God. In man's search for God, or in man's search for truth, historically, historians have collected or established that of all the religions of the earth, and this is a very tremendous thing, a very tremendous point, of all of the religions of the earth, Hinduism, the animists of Africa who worship the spirits in the trees and in the waters and in the clouds and the air, whatever it may be, that of all of these religions, the Aborigines of Australia with all of their different beliefs, that of all of these religions, there's always at the center of them a God, a central God, a supreme God who created everything, and then they add on top of that all of these intercessors and partners in worship. Until the point where even the pagan Arabs on the time of our Prophet Muhammad, when the revelation was coming to him from Allah, his people were the same way. They had 360 gods that they had worshipped in the Kaaba there in Mecca. But if you were to ask them who created everything, who was the creator of the heavens and the earth, who changes the night to the day, and who was the administrator of the heavens and the earth, they would have said Allah. So even they had this belief in this central God. But they added on top of this, because of their superstitions and all these matters, they added on top of all of this other gods that they worship besides Allah. Other gods besides Allah. And this is what we find historically from these peoples. So we mention this and then we say that the natural disposition is to incline towards this monotheism, the belief in one God. This is what the Creator placed in our nature, this belief in one God. And then he says, after mentioning the narration of our Prophet, the noble scholar, whose name was Ibn Hajar, be patient with the names again, Ibn Hajar, he said what is intended by fitrah is the ability of the people to be guided in the foundation of their nature. In other words, that when they are shown the right way and the wrong way, that they have the natural inclination to rise towards that which is right. But it's because of their environment or because of their family members or parents, as we mentioned earlier, that people follow what their parents gave them. They follow what they found their parents doing. And it's because of this that they are changed from that natural disposition to follow these other ways and these other beliefs. And he says it's just like the animals. We mentioned that when it is born in its complete state. It is born in its complete state. Its ears are not clipped. It is not branded. It is born in its natural form. And so it is the human being until someone clips his ears and brands him. This is what happens in the natural disposition of the human being. And then we mentioned the verse from the Quran, and we're going to end part 1 here. We're going to end part 1 here, and we'll continue after the second talk of our brother, because there's much to cover, and I don't want to go too long. There's a verse in the Quran that describes this natural disposition, or this fitrah that we're discussing, where Allah says, and remember when your Lord brought forth from the children of Adam, from their loins, from the loins of the children of Adam, from their seed, from the offspring of Adam, from the children of Adam, and made them testify as to themselves, saying, am I not your Lord? So in other words, Allah said, He placed in, when He created the mankind, He said to them, they had to testify that He was indeed their Lord. This is what we say when they was placed in the natural disposition of the human being towards Tawheed, towards the belief in one God, this monotheistic belief. And then it will say, yes, we testify, so it will not be said on the day of judgment that they were unaware of this. So in other words, this is what, as we mentioned, was placed in the natural disposition of the human being, of man and woman, that they incline towards belief in one God, but it's their parents or their environment that divert them from that path and cause them or call them to be from these many different ways and different beliefs, as we had mentioned, that when our prophet Abraham said to his people, what do you worship? They said, we worship our idols. He said, do they hear you when you call on them? And they said, no, but this is what we found our fathers doing. So we merely follow what we found our fathers doing. So as the prophet has mentioned, that these individuals have been changed by their family members, their parents, or their environment from that natural disposition towards what their parents were upon. And this is what we wanted to mention for the first part of this talk.